The late afternoon sun slanted through the blinds of Lima's bedroom, casting long golden stripes across her unmade bed and the pile of unwashed laundry in the corner. At 20 years old, Lima should have felt like she was on the cusp of something: college, a career, independence. Instead, she felt stuck. Stuck in her part-time barista job, stuck in her childhood room, and worst of all, stuck in the shadow of her younger sister, Zara. She lay on her back, scrolling through Instagram with one hand while the other absently twisted a loose thread on her comforter. And there it was again, Zara's latest post. A photo of her standing in front of a sleek gallery wall, her dark curls pulled into a messy bun, wearing a paint-splattered apron and holding a certificate that read, *, full scholarship, National Institute of Visual Arts. The caption was humble: so grateful for this opportunity. Hard work pays off. You're going places, Zara. Your mom must be bursting with pride. Talent like yours is rare. Lima's thumb hovered over the screen. She wanted to like it, she really did. But a bitter knot tightened in her chest. Of course mom's proud, she thought. Zara's perfect. She draws, she paints, she gets scholarships. Meanwhile, I can't even get into a decent graphic design program without taking out loans mom won't co-sign. She tossed her phone onto the pillow with a sigh and stared at the ceiling. It wasn't that she didn't love Zara. She did. But loving someone didn't stop you from feeling invisible next to them. Their mother, Elena, had roasted chicken with rosemary, Zara's favorite, and made a fresh batch of garlic mashed potatoes. The table was set with the good plates, the ones with the delicate blue rim they only used for special occasions. And apparently, Zara's art school acceptance counted as one, so, Elena said, beaming as she passed the potatoes to Zara, Professor Langston called me today. He said your final portfolio was the most emotionally resonant he's seen in 10 years. Zara blushed, tucking a curl behind her ear. He's just being nice, Mom. No, he meant it, Elena insisted. He said your piece about Grandma, Eyes That Remember, brought tears to his eyes. Lima pushed a piece of chicken around her plate. Must be nice to have a hobby that pays for college, she said, trying to keep her tone light but failing. Zara looked up, surprised. It's not just a hobby, Lima. I spent every night for the past year working on those pieces. Weekends, holidays, even when I didn't feel like it. I work every night too, Lima shot back, her voice sharper than she intended. Just not at something that gets framed and fawned over. The room fell silent. Elena set down her fork. Lima, she said gently but firmly, there's room for both your paths. You're building something real too, your independence, your work ethic. That matters. But Lima didn't feel like it mattered. Not when Zara's sketchbook, thick, leather-bound, filled with charcoal dreams, sat proudly on the coffee table like a trophy, while Lima's resume gathered digital dust in her laptop folder. The next afternoon, the house was quiet. Zara had gone to meet a mentor from the Art Institute, and Mom was at the grocery store. Lima wandered into the living room, drawn to the sketchbook like a moth to a flame she secretly wanted to snuff out. She picked it up carefully. Flipped through pages of delicate hands, stormy skies, portraits that seemed to breathe. One page showed their late grandmother, eyes closed, sunlight catching the silver in her hair. Zara had written in the corner, for the woman who taught me to see beauty in stillness. Lima's throat tightened. She remembered Grandma saying the same thing to her once, when she'd painted a clumsy watercolor of their backyard. You've got an eye, Mija, she'd said, ruffling Lima's hair. But Lima had given up after high school. Too hard. Too expensive. Too uncertain. Why does Zara get everything? The thought slithered in, ugly and familiar. Why does she get to be the dreamer while I'm just the one who pays bills? Her hand trembled as she set the sketchbook back on the table. She picked up her half-empty water glass from the counter. Walked back toward the couch. And then, she tripped. Just a little stumble. The glass tipped. Clear water spilled across the open pages, bleeding Zara's delicate lines into gray, soggy smudges. She stood there for a moment, watching the ink dissolve. A part of her wanted to grab a towel. But another part, the small, jealous part, whispered, let her feel what it's like to lose something precious. She walked away. When Zara came home an hour later, her scream echoed through the house like a crack in glass. Mom. My portfolio. It's ruined. Lima pretended to be engrossed in a book in her room, but her heart hammered against her ribs. She heard Zara's choked sobs, the rustle of wet paper, Mom's soft murmurs of comfort, then, footsteps. A knock on her door. Lima, Elena said, voice calm but edged with steel. Come downstairs. Now. In the kitchen, Zara sat at the table, cradling the warped, waterlogged pages like a wounded bird. Her eyes were red, her shoulders slumped. Elena stood by the stove, arms crossed, not angry, but deeply disappointed. Did you do this, Lima? She asked, her voice low. Lima's throat closed. She wanted to lie. To say the cat knocked it over, or the window was open and rain got in. But the look in her mother's eyes, hurt, not furious, made the truth spill out in a rush. Yes, she whispered. Why? Because you act like she's the only one who matters. Lima burst out, tears welling. Like her dreams are worth celebrating, and mine are nothing. You never ask about my shifts, or how I'm saving for classes, or, Lima, Elena interrupted gently, I do ask. You just shut me out. But that doesn't give you the right to hurt your sister. She walked to the counter and opened the security app on her phone, the one linked to the living room camera. The timestamp matched Lima's study break perfectly. This isn't about attention, Elena said, turning back to her. This is about kindness. And in this house, we don't destroy what others have built, even when we're hurting. She paused, then added quietly, you know what happens when you cross that line. Lima's stomach dropped. Their family had a rule, one rarely used, but never forgotten. For serious acts of unkindness within the family, especially those born of malice or jealousy, there was a consequence. A light, old-fashioned reminder that love includes accountability. Go get the wooden spoon from the top drawer, Elena said. Lima's cheeks burned with shame, but she obeyed. She returned with the smooth, honey-colored spoon, the one used for stirring soup, not punishment. It felt heavy in her hand. Elena took it gently. This isn't because I don't love you, she said, her voice thick with emotion. It's because I love you enough to teach you better. 3 firm swats landed on Lima's backside over her jeans, more sting than pain, over in less than 10 seconds. But the real weight came after, when Elena pulled her into a tight hug. Lima buried her face in her mom's shoulder and cried, not from the paddling, but from shame, relief, and the crushing fear that she'd broken something precious between her and Zara forever. "Now," Elena said, wiping her daughter's tears with her thumb, "you'll help Zara fix what you broke." For the next week, Lima spent her evenings beside Zara at the kitchen table. She used her next paycheck to buy new sketch paper, high-quality charcoal pencils, and blending stumps. She made Zara's favorite chai with extra ginger, just how she liked it. And every night after her shift at the cafe, she sat quietly, holding the lamp steady while Zara redrew her favorite pieces. One night, as Zara shaded in the folds of their grandmother's sari for the third time, she whispered, "I'm scared, you know." Lima looked up from her phone. "Of art school?" Zara nodded, not meeting her eyes. "What if I fail? Everyone expects so much. Mom, my teachers, even strangers online. I feel like I have to be perfect." Lima stared. "You? Scared? You're the golden child." Zara let out a weak laugh. "I only look golden because you're always comparing us. But I've always wished I had your courage, how you talk to strangers, how you don't care what people think. I freeze up if someone watches me draw." Lima blinked. She'd never seen herself that way. To her, Zara was the brave one, the one who chased dreams. But maybe bravery looked different for everyone. "I'm sorry," Lima said softly. "For the sketchbook. For everything." Zara reached over and squeezed her hand. "I know. And I forgive you." On Sunday, Elena made her famous lemon rosemary chicken. The table was set again with the blue-rimmed plates. As they ate, Elena raised her glass of sparkling water. "To my girls," she said, her eyes glistening. "Each brilliant in your own light. Lima. Your strength, your grit, your big heart. Zara, your vision, your sensitivity, your quiet fire. You don't have to be the same to be loved equally." After dinner, Lima sat at the table with a fresh sheet of paper and a pencil Zara had given her. She sketched Zara laughing, head thrown back, eyes crinkled at the corners, a smudge of charcoal on her cheek. It wasn't perfect, but it was honest. She snapped a photo and texted it to Zara with a simple message, "My little genius." "Proud of you," Zara replied instantly. "Proud of you, big sis." Lima smiled, the green-eyed shadow finally lifted. She wasn't second best. She wasn't invisible. She was Lima, and that was more than enough, and for the first time in a long time, she believed it.